Part 3 of a first-hand account of surviving Argentina's economic collapse. Now, before we start, there's two things to keep in mind. First of all, there's a lot of spelling mistakes in this document and there's a lot of run-on sentences, so I'm going to try to read it as best as I can. And second, I had 2 wisdom teeth removed today, so if I sound weird, that's why. Okay, so let's get started. This first section is gray/black market. Once the SHTF, the black/gray market will take no time to appear all around you. In my country, gray markets were even accepted in the end. At first, it was all about trading skills or craft products for food. Districts and towns would form their own barter markets and create their own tickets, similar to money that was used for trade. This didn't last long. Those tickets were easy to make on your home computer. There was no control, and eventually people went back to paper money. These markets were usually placed on warehouses or empty land and were managed by some wise guy and a few thugs or hired security. Anyone can go rent a kiosk inside these markets for about 50 to 100 pesos, about $20 to $30 a day, and sell his goods and services. Peace within these markets is usually respected. Let's just say that these managers don't call the police if someone tries anything funny like stealing, fighting, or taking advantage of women. That's not good for their business, and anyone that tries to mess with their business finds out how much pain the human body can actually experiment, or gets a free ticket to meet the Lord. Sometimes even uniformed cops manage security on these markets, for a small fee of course. As always, you still have to be careful. They may still try to pick your pockets or even attack you once you leave the market. Once you leave the market, you are on your own, as always. These markets evolved, and now a lot of different products are available. Today I visited my local market, a warehouse that is fairly well set up and cleanly managed. They had problems for selling stolen merchandise and fake brand name clothes a few days ago. What can be found at local markets? Mostly food and clothing. Some have more variety than others, but cheese, canned food, spices, honey, eggs, fruits, vegetables, beer, wine, and cured meat are generally available, same as bakery products and pasta. These are less expensive than those found at supermarkets. Fresh fish is sometimes available, but not always. People don't trust much products that need refrigeration, and they get those at supermarkets instead. Clothes are also popular, and you can find copies of brand name clothes, imitations, or even original stolen new clothes. The same goes for shoes and sneakers. Children's clothes, underwear, socks, sheets, and towels are all very popular. Some sell toys, but they are always China-made, mostly poor quality, though there are some few exceptions. Others sell tools, also made in China, can be found as well, but they are of poor quality. Some offer their services and repair stuff or offer work as handymen. You would be amazed of the junk that these guys manage to fix. TVs, CD players, power tools, etc. They even manage to solder the small integrated circuit board sometimes. Give one of these guys a screwdriver and a bar of chocolate and he will fix a nuclear submarine. Also food and clothes. The third most popular item has to be CDs and DVDs, movies, music, PlayStation 2 and Xbox games, programs. It all ends up there just 1 or 2 days after the official release in USA. Seems that they have a guy hidden under Bill Gates' desk or something. Anyway, almost everything can be found here, and if you want, you can ask around, talk to the right guy, and buy illegal stuff like drugs or black market, guns, and ammo. The quality of the drugs is questionable, of course, and a lot of addicts pass away from the mixtures these guys sell. GUNs are mostly FM high powers, surplus 1911s and Colt 45s, Sistemas, and old Colt detective revolvers and 38 special that found their way from police and military armories into the black market. Condition isn't very good, but if you have money, you'll be amazed at what you can end up with. Everything that is used by the military and police, including SMGs, a Browning 50 BMG, machine GUNS, and even frag grenades, is available in the black market. If the customer has the amount of money and a little patience, of course, the big GUNS may take a while, but the hand GUNS and grenades are readily available. The next paragraph subheading is gold. Someone hit me in the head, please, because I messed up about the gold issue. Everyone wants to buy gold. I buy gold, pay cash. Signs are everywhere. Even on TV. I can't believe I'm that silly. I just didn't relate it to what I read here because they deal with junk gold like jewelry, either stolen or sold because they needed the money, not the gold coins that you guys talk about. No one pays for the true value of the stuff, so big warning. Sign on the people that are buying gold coins. Since it is impossible to determine the true mineral percentage of gold, small shops and dealers will pay for it as regular jewelry gold. What would I do if I were you? Besides gold coins, buy a lot of small gold rings and other jewelry. They should be less expensive than gold coins, and if the SHTF bad, you'll not be losing money selling premium quality gold coins for the piece of junk gold. If I could travel back in time, I'd buy a small bag worth of gold rings. Small-time thieves will snatch gold chains right out of your neck and sell them at these small dealers found everywhere. This is very common at train stations, subways, and other crowded areas. So my advice, if you are preparing for a small economical crisis, gold coins make sense. You will keep the value of the stuff and be able to sell it for its actual cost to gold dealers or maybe other survivalists that know the true value of the item. In my case, gold coins would have been an excellent investment, saving me from losing money when the local economy crashed. Even though things are bad, I can go to a bank downtown and get paid for what a gold coin is truly worth. Same goes for pure silver. But where I live in my local, our small-time dealers will only pay you the value of junk gold, no matter what kind of gold you have. So I'd have to say that if SHTF bad, gold jewelry is a better trade than gold coins. Forgive me for not talking about this before, but I didn't realize this until today, when I visited my local market warehouse and saw a buy gold sign. This next subheading says GUNs, ammo, and other gear. After SHTF in 2001, only the most narrow-minded, brainwashed, butterfly IQ level idiots believed that the police would protect them from the crime wave that followed the collapse of our economy. And a lot of people that could have been considered anti-GUN before ran to the GUN shop seeking advice on how to defend themselves and their families. They would buy a .38 revolver, a box of ammo, and leave it in the closet, probably believing that it would magically protect them from intruders. Oh, maybe you don't think that firearms are really necessary, or your beliefs do not allow you to buy a tool designed to kill people. So you probably ask yourself, is a GUN really necessary when SHTF? Will it truly make a difference? Having gone through a SHTF scenario myself, total economic collapse in the year 2001, and still dealing with the consequences 5 years later, I feel I can answer that question. Yes, you need a GUN, pepper spray, a machete, a battle axe, club with a rusty nail sticking out of it, or whatever weapon you can get a hold of. A lot has been written on survival weapons. That is into arms. Everyone that is into armed survival has his or her own idea of the ideal GUN battery. Some more oriented to a hunting point of view, others only as self-defense means, and others consider a little bit of both and look for general purpose weapons. Talking about GUNs, there is one special subject I want to rectify, and it's the point on what's the primary weapon for the survivalist, especially an urban survivalist that has to function in a society. Yes, even after SHTF. The primary defensive weapon for the survivalist is his hand GUN. It's a weapon that stays with him when he is doing his business around town of working on the field. The survivalist is not a soldier. Even though you are a soldier or you once were the meanest mother on the battlefield, your hometown is not a battlefield, and it won't be, even if SHTF. A lot of water has to go under the bridge until the situation gets to a point where you can calmly walk down the street with a rifle on your shoulder. People, People, if you are interested in real world SHTF situation and you want to prepare for the real deal, then understand that this isn't black or white. You wake up one day and listen on the radio that the economy collapsed and that the stock market closed indefinitely. What do you do? You still have to go to the office, work, whatever. Kiss the wife goodbye and walk to the office with your AR across your back or across your chest and ready to shoot. You won't get far. Someone will shoot you or throw you in jail or in a mental institution. What I'm trying to explain that it's okay to prepare for China invading your country, Germans and UN or Martians. That is extreme, less likely, worst case scenario. There is an infinity spectrum of gray between the black and white. White being your average normal day and black being total, the end of the world as we know it. Lizard men invading the planet. Rifles do have a place in the survivalist arsenal and a very important one, but you have to understand that 90% of the time, the hand GUN will be the weapon you have available when you need one. You can't compare to a trooper in Iraq that has his weapon with him at all times. I ask you, how many soldiers do you know that keep wearing camo and toting their M4s around town when they return home? What works for war does not work for the survivalist, especially the urban survivalist. Even if you live in a retreat far from town, you have to work, don't you? Or do you have employees that take care of all your mundane tasks, leaving you all day to keep watch with your rifle ready? A soldier is part of a huge machine. His job is to carry that rifle while others take care of other needs. A survivalist, one that is not part of a large survivalist group, has no one to cover for him. When a new guy looks for advice on what to get for defense, someone will recommend a rifle or a shot GUN as a first defensive weapon. Let's say race riots start in this guy's city. He still has to go to work every day. What is he supposed to do? Shove his pump shot GUN in his pocket? A hand GUN, even though less powerful, can be used for home defense and go with you wherever you need to go. If the place floods, he can still hop into an evacuation boat without leaving his weapon behind. I'm sure no rescue team will pick you up if you are carrying a long arm. They'll ask you to leave it behind for sure. What if your government, realizing that SHTF and they lost control of the events, bans all firearms indefinitely? Don't know about you, but if things are that bad, I'd like to be armed. You can hide a hand GUN under a jacket. You can't hide a long arm under your clothes. I think it was Clint Smith who said that the hand GUN is only used to fight his way to his rifle. Man, that sounds macho. I'd love to see him walking into Walmart with his tactical M4, taking the subway, visiting the doctor, or going to the bank. Over here, Mr. Smith, you can hang your M4 right next to my coat. I don't think so, guys. Unless you have your own shooting school, you do not get to carry your rifle to work. Okay, now that I got that out of my chest, let's look at some options. Hand GUNs, revolver or pistol? Pistol all the way, yes. I saw the video of the guy that accurately emptied his Smith & Wesson in half a second. I also saw the shooting range and the crowd behind him watching the event. Can he shoot and reload that way if he is in his car driving with one hand and shooting with the other while a bunch of scumbags in another car are shooting at him? Hey, maybe he can. I know I can't. Can you? Generally speaking, the revolver is more difficult to master than the pistol. The double action is hard and it affects the speed and accuracy. It can be done, but I found that pistols are easier, as did many shooters. Also, even though they seem to be more simple, revolvers are not as rugged as service pistols. The mechanisms that cycle the cylinder and cocks the hammer is both complicated and fragile compared to auto pistols. Before anyone starts casting evil voodoo spells at me for insulting their prized Smith & Wesson or Ruger, I own revolvers and I like shooting them. I just don't think they are the best option for self-defense, and I see that everyone I talk to in my country who is worried about security, as I am, chooses pistols. Quality pistols resist sand, mud, and dirt in general better than revolvers, where a small pebble locked in the mechanism may render the revolver inoperable. I also had a problem with a new stainless steel Taurus Tracker 357 Magnum. After shooting it a couple times, I reloaded it and shot all 7 rounds as fast as I could, and when I tried to empty it, I found that the empties were stuck because they expanded, because of the heat. I had to wait until the GUN cooled a little so that I could empty the GUN. Stuff like this can get you KILLED, even more in a 7-round hand GUN. I once saw a man walk into a firearms store wanting to trade his .357 Magnum revolver for a 9mm high-capacity pistol. He said he was driving when thugs from another car started shooting at him. He was chased for a few blocks. He said that he pulled his revolver and started shooting at them and ran out of ammo real fast. He wanted more capacity and faster reloading. I could not agree with him more. Some will consider this spray and pray, thinking that all rounds should hit the target. And if some don't, then it means you need more time at the range. Those same people will tell you that they intend to use both bolt-action rifles as defensive rifles, making each shot count, without ever missing their target. One shot, one KILL. I don't agree with this. One shot, one KILL is okay for snipers, but the survivalist should have other alternatives. I don't see anything wrong with shooting 4 or 5 rounds at a chasing car. If those rounds make them think twice about their intentions, they are rounds well spent in my book, even if they don't KILL the attacker. Suppressive fire is possible if you have a high capacity pistol. I wouldn't doubt on using such a tactic if it serves my purpose or if it buys me time to get out of there. Also, keep in mind that criminals are cowards and therefore attack in groups. The survivalist should be able to face more than just one attacker. Getting into a GUN fight with 2 or 3 armed men while packing a 6-round revolver is rather hard to deal with. A high-capacity pistol can load about 15 or 19 rounds, and that can certainly make a difference in a GUN fight where you are outnumbered. A forensic doctor that used to live in my neighborhood got KILLED last year. He was ambushed when he exited a restaurant by 5 or 6 men. Even though they did KILL him, he managed to take down 4 of them and severely injure another. He shot regularly and carried a Glock 40. I'm sure he was lucky, but I also think that his choice of weapon was also important in the outcome. If anyone is wondering, people in my country that are serious about self-defense carry Glocks. Those that don't have money for a Glock carry Bursas, FM, high powers, or 1911 surplus 45s. At first I wasn't sure about the Bursa, but once I tried them, I saw that they are very decent GUNs. Now I own 2 Bursas and I'm pleased with their performance. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. I'm going to continue reading in part 4. Let me know what you guys think so far.